Now, every other day in the news, we hear a new story of Nigerians getting killed in parts of the country. There's different figures. No names, obviously, but just figures. Because that's what, Nigerians have seemingly been reduced to, just statistics. And at this point, it's also fair to say that we maybe have all become desensitized to these stories. Doesn't mean anything anymore, hearing that maybe 20 Nigerians were murdered the night before. If you check the news this morning, you might see one or two of such stories. It's actually no different from hearing a story about farming in Senegal or somewhere. There's complete, irrelevance, with these stories these days. In fact, stories of our current exchange rate ignites more conversations across the country than the tale of more Nigerians getting slaughtered. This morning I'm asking, how many more? And also, who is next? Now, one of the major reasons we've gotten so desensitized about this is years and years and years of complete lack of accountability from our government. We experienced years and years of a government that failed to accept its responsibility to protect Nigerian lives. A government that went on to name a group of people. They did a small naming ceremony, if we can call it that, for a group of people who were slaughtering Nigerian citizens, and we called them unknown gunmen. That means that the government, while failing to tackle this problem and also not being bothered with the proper investigation and justice for these victims, went on to tell us that these killers were unknown. And that's it. They're just simply unknown men with guns. And if in moments when they are not unknown gunmen, then they're just simply bandits. There was nothing, there was no part of, the whole conversation that the government said to itself, it is my responsibility to ensure that these people are identified and the victims get justice, and we put an end to it. And once again, I'm asking, how many more lives and who's next? This morning, I want to ask the Nigerian government, and at what point will you say enough is enough? At what point will enough really and truly be enough for you in office? At what point will our government say, we have truly had enough of Nigerians dying in the hands of these terrorists, and we will put an end to it immediately? How many more need to be killed? How many more lives need to be taken before our government really takes that step and makes that statement to itself with honesty? How many more? And again, in any part of the country, we ask, who is next? Now, one of the main reasons that we may never see that happen is because, and I said this a couple of days ago, there is no punishment for failure in our country. Nobody fears that they would lose their job for failing the Nigerian people. Nobody is bothered that they will be fired or forced to resign for failing to protect the Nigerian people. Not the president, not governors, not members of the National Assembly, not heads of our security agencies. Absolutely nobody has that fear or feels that level of responsibility or accountability or the fear of punishment for failing at their jobs, even if that failure has led to the loss of thousands of innocent lives. I mean, what kind of country are we really living in? Again, how many more lives and who is next? To those in the National Assembly, the people that you claim to be representing are being slaughtered in their dozens. The people who got you into office, into the National Assembly, are being murdered while you do and say absolutely nothing. And so how many more dead bodies do you want to represent in the National Assembly? To state governors and to Mr. President, the people that you are chief security officer of, those whose votes got you into government, and of course got you into government house, they're being killed by terrorists. And so after campaigning and fighting to get into those positions, do you really feel absolutely nothing for these families who have lost their fathers and mothers and siblings? And as always, is that the plan? To fail the Nigerian people for 4, maybe 8 years, and then just go and enjoy retirement? To preside over a nation that is flowing with the blood of hundreds of innocent people, and then after 4 years or 8 years, you just disappear, and that's it, and enjoy your life happily ever after, as the ones in the past have done? Again, this morning I'm asking, how many more and who is next? Good morning, Nigerians.